Stop letting past pain lower your vibration. Do this to heal it instantly. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself how much of what you're feeling right now is truly yours and how much is residue from a wound you've already experienced? Most of us don't realize that our present vibration, the energy we emit into the universe, is often contaminated, not by what's happening now, but by what already happened, by the echoes of pain that still whisper to us from the shadows of our memory. The moment we wake up, we're already thinking, and often those thoughts are not fresh, they are old, looping, unconsciously summoned. They emerge from a place deep within us where hurt still lives. It's not just memory, it's emotional residue. Past pain has a vibration, and unless we clear it, it becomes the lens through which we perceive life. We think we're seeing the world clearly, but in truth, we're looking through stained glass. Colors painted by trauma, betrayal, heartbreak, failure. Why do we hold on to these wounds so tightly? Why do we rehearse our pain like a script over and over again? Because pain gives us identity. It says, this is who I am. Someone who was hurt, someone who was abandoned, someone who was not enough. And here's the most dangerous part. It's familiar, and the familiar feels safe, even when it's toxic. That's the paradox of pain. We hate it, but we hold on to it like it's a part of us. But what if it isn't?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Let me tell you something that changed my life. Pain is not personal. It feels personal, yes. It feels like they did this to you. It feels like betrayal, like injustice, like fate has singled you out. But when you zoom out, when you elevate your consciousness, you begin to see that pain is just energy. It's not a punishment. It's not even a test. It's an invitation to rise, to evolve, to transcend. And yet, most of us resist this invitation. We suppress, we pretend, we distract, we scroll, we binge, we work ourselves numb. Why? Because facing pain requires presence, and presence requires courage. Most people don't run from pain because they're weak. They run because they were never taught how to sit with it. They were never shown that pain, when faced consciously, becomes power. Ask yourself this: what pain are you still carrying that you never gave yourself permission to fully feel? Maybe it was a parent who never saw you, a lover who left without explanation, a dream that died without ever being born. These things hurt, and they should, but the wound isn't what keeps your vibration low. It's the story you attach to the wound. It's the narrative you've built around what happened. I'm not lovable, I always mess things up, I can't trust anyone. These aren't facts, they're interpretations. And interpretations can be rewritten. The first step to healing is awareness. You must become radically honest with yourself. Not in a judgmental way, but in a compassionate way. You have to look at your life and ask, where am I still bleeding? Where am I still reacting instead of responding? Where do I keep attracting the same type of pain in different costumes? Because the universe is a mirror. It reflects back to you not what you want, but what you are. If you are still vibrating from a place of unresolved hurt, you will attract people, situations, and experiences that validate that vibration. But here's the good news. Vibration is fluid. It's not fixed. You are not doomed to be stuck in the frequency of your past. You can shift, You can elevate. You can heal. Not over years, not through endless therapy, but instantly, in a single moment of conscious surrender. The moment you stop resisting your pain and start witnessing it, something miraculous happens. You step out of the story and into the observer. You realize, I am not this pain. I am the awareness holding this pain. I am the space in which healing can occur. This is not spiritual fluff. This is quantum truth. When you change your inner state, your outer reality reshapes itself. The energy you emit shifts, and the universe responds. It's like tuning a radio. If you're stuck on the frequency of lack, betrayal, or fear, that's what you'll keep hearing. But the moment you tune into love, forgiveness, gratitude, your reality begins to echo that back to you. You don't have to chase healing, you just have to align with it. So how do we do that? How do we stop letting past pain lower our vibration and heal it instantly? It begins with presence. The next time a painful memory arises, don't push it away, don't analyze it, don't try to fix it. Just sit with it. Feel the rawness, let it rise, let it burn, but don't identify with it. Say to yourself, this is energy moving through me. This is not who I am. Breathe into it. Place your hand on your heart if you need to anchor yourself. And then ask the pain, what are you here to teach me? Not as a victim, but as a student, because every pain carries a hidden gift. Sometimes it's a realization. Sometimes it's a calling. Sometimes it's simply the gift of awakening. And once you've received the lesson, the pain begins to dissolve, not because you forced it to, but because you honored it. Pain unloved becomes poison, but pain held with love becomes wisdom. It becomes light, and that light raises your vibration, not just for you, but for everyone around you. You become a beacon. You become a reminder to others that healing is not only possible, it's natural, it's your birthright. But here's the trap most people fall into. They try to heal by fixing the outside. They change jobs, move cities, end relationships, start new ones. And yet the same patterns follow them. Because the real shift is internal, the real journey is inward. And that takes courage, that takes stillness, that takes a willingness to feel what you've spent your whole life running from. So I ask you again, what pain are you still carrying? What energy are you still emitting because of a wound that no longer needs to define you? Sit with that question. Don't rush to answer it. Let it sink. Let it stir. Because in that inquiry lies the seed of your transformation. The alchemy of emotional transmutation. There's a sacred moment that exists between the feeling of pain and the reaction to that pain. Most of us miss it. We feel the sting and we move into defense, into anger, into withdrawal or blame. But in that very moment, if we can become still, if we can pause and witness what's rising, we gain access to one of the most powerful forces in the universe, the ability to transmute, to turn pain into power, to turn wounds into wisdom. That is the alchemy of the soul, and it's not just poetic, it's energetic, it's real. When we talk about raising vibration, we're talking about shifting frequency. Emotions have frequencies. Fear, guilt, shame, they vibrate low. Love, joy, peace, they vibrate high. And the truth is, we're always broadcasting something. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is a signal. And the universe, it's always responding. But here's what most people don't realize. You can't fake your vibration. You can't paste affirmations over a broken heart and expect miracles. You can't chant mantras while avoiding the inner work and think you've ascended. Real spiritual growth, real healing, requires that you go into the dark with the intention to bring light. That you take the raw, honest, messy truth of your emotional landscape and offer it love, not rejection. Ask yourself, when was the last time I fully allowed myself to feel? Not analyze, not explain, just feel. Most of us are terrified of our own depth. We fear that if we really let ourselves go there, into the grief, the rage, the sorrow, we'll drown. But the paradox is this: it's the very resistance to feeling that keeps us stuck. The pain doesn't get stronger when we face it, we do. Something ancient wakes up in us when we stop running, a deeper intelligence, a knowing. We remember that we are not here to be immune to pain, we are here to transform it. Pain arises to be moved, not stored, and in the body, unprocessed pain becomes tension, illness, fatigue. Spiritually, it becomes blocks, psychological fog, the inability to manifest, the inability to feel joy. So many people are trying to raise their vibration while dragging a bag of emotional bricks behind them, and they wonder, why isn't this working? Why do I still feel stuck? The answer is simple. You cannot ascend while holding on to what no longer serves you. You have to release, you have to cleanse. That release is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle. It might look like crying in the shower, screaming into a pillow, writing a letter to someone you'll never send, sitting under a tree and letting yourself be seen by the earth, by the sky, by the silence. These are not small acts, these are rituals, these are sacred, because every time you choose to feel instead of suppress, to witness instead of avoid, you reclaim a piece of yourself. You take your power back from the memory that tried to define you. You say, I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become in the aftermath. And this is the key: choice. You always have it, no matter what was done to you, no matter how deep the wound. You get to choose how you carry it. You get to choose whether it becomes your prison or your portal to awakening. That's not bypassing, that's power, that's sovereignty. That's what every master, every sage, every awakened being has taught in some form. You are not your suffering, you are the awareness of it. But here's the deeper truth. Your greatest pain is often the seed of your purpose. The thing that nearly broke you is the doorway to the work you came here to do, because once you heal it, you can help others heal it too. That's why the universe allowed it, not to punish you, not to test you, but to initiate you, to make you medicine for the world. Think of every healer, every artist, every teacher who's moved you deeply. Behind their light was shadow, behind their wisdom was pain, but they transmuted it. They didn't let it define them, they let it refine them. And so can you. But not through force, not through spiritual perfectionism, through surrender, through softness, through radical honesty with yourself. You don't need to be fearless, you just need to be willing to go into the parts of yourself you've ignored, willing to hold space for your inner child, your past self, your broken moments, willing to let them speak, to let them cry, to let them be seen. Healing is not about fixing, it's about integrate. It's about making peace with every version of you that ever existed and saying, you are welcome here, you are loved. And when that happens, when you stop abandoning yourself and start embracing every piece of your journey, your vibration rises naturally, not because you forced it, but because you return to wholeness. And wholeness is your natural state. The universe responds not to your perfection, but to your authenticity. And authenticity is magnetic. It draws in the people, the opportunities, the synchronicities that match your healed frequency. So I ask you now, what parts of yourself have you been at war with? What emotions have you labeled as wrong, weak, or dangerous? Can you meet them with love instead of resistance? Can you choose to feel fully so you can finally be free? Because the truth is, healing doesn't take time. It takes presence. It takes choice. And the moment you choose to stop running and start feeling, you step into your power. You stop lowering your vibration in service of your past, and you start elevating it in service of your future. The sacred rewriting of your inner script. There comes a time in every spiritual journey where we must ask the most pivotal question of all: who am I without my pain? It's terrifying, isn't it? Because for so long pain becomes our identity. The heartbreak, the abandonment, the childhood wounds. They become the framework through which we understand ourselves and our world. We say things like, I'm this way because of what happened to me, and we believe it. But what if that story is outdated? What if the version of you that was shaped by pain is not the final draft, but merely a rough sketch? What if you've been living under a spell cast by your past, and now is the moment to rewrite it? This is not about denial, this is about liberation. You see, pain imprints itself not only in our memories, but in our energy field. Every time we revisit a painful event without healing it, we reinforce the neural pathways, the emotional habits, the vibrational patterns that keep us stuck. It becomes a loop, a subconscious program running in the background of our lives, influencing our decisions, our relationships, our self-worth. But here's the truth. You are the author, you are not the story. And you have the power to revise, to edit, to transmute every chapter that once made you feel small, broken, unworthy. So how do we do that? How do we rewrite our inner script in a way that raises our vibration and frees us from the gravitational pull of the past? It begins with the recognition that emotions are not final. They are feedback. They tell you where your attention is, not who you are. They reveal where healing is needed, not where you are doomed to remain. Every time you feel triggered, every time something stirs up that old ache in your chest or tightness in your stomach, it's a message. There's something here that wants to be seen, acknowledged, and released. Not buried, not judged, not numbed, but loved. Love is the solvent. It's the ultimate frequency of transformation. Not romantic love, not conditional love, but divine love. The kind that says, even this part of me is worthy. When you look at your past and say, I forgive you, you're not excusing what happened. You're releasing yourself from the energetic contract that keeps you bound to that moment. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's radical self-liberation. It's saying, I will no longer allow this memory to dictate my vibration. And that act alone can shift your entire reality. Let me tell you a secret that most people never realize. The universe is always listening to your inner dialogue. Not just your spoken words, but the silent beliefs you carry. If you keep repeating, "I am not good enough," the universe echoes back experiences that confirm that belief. Not because it's punishing you, but because it's obedient. It mirrors your frequency. So when you change the narrative, when you begin to say, "I am whole, I am healing, I am worthy," even if you don't fully believe it yet, you start to shift the signal, and the signal is everything. This isn't about being positive all the time, it's about being aligned. Aligned with truth, aligned with love, aligned with your highest self, the version of you who has already healed, already transcended, already remembered who they are. That version of you exists, not in some distant future, but in this very moment, waiting for you to remember them, waiting for you to choose them. You heal the past by being fully present. The mind wants to take you back, to analyze, to dissect, to replay, but the heart knows the way forward is through surrender, through softness, through allowing. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit with yourself in silence and say, "I'm ready to let this go. I don't need to carry this anymore. I choose peace now." And when you do that, even if you don't feel an immediate shift, something begins to rearrange on a quantum level, like a tight knot slowly loosening, like a fog lifting. Healing doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's subtle. A lightness you feel when you wake up, a moment where you react differently than you used to. A new sense of possibility where there once was despair. These are signs. These are whispers from your soul saying, "Yes, keep going. You're remembering." So the question becomes, what new story are you ready to write? Not based on what happened, but based on what you now know is possible. Who are you when you are no longer defined by what hurt you? Can you dare to see yourself as more than a survivor, as a creator, a healer, an alchemist of energy and emotion? Because that is what you are. And the moment we stop letting our past dictate our vibration, we begin to truly live. Not from fear, not from lack, but from the unshakable knowing that we are divine beings having a human experience, and that every wound was simply a doorway back to love. Awakening the healer within, becoming the light you were searching for. There's a sacred moment in every healing journey where you stop looking outward for the light and realize it was always within you. The healer you've been searching for, the love you've been chasing, the peace you thought was somewhere far away, it has always been quietly waiting inside like a flame under layers of ash. The final step in releasing the grip of past pain isn't just to let go. It's to become the version of yourself who no longer needs the pain as proof of survival, to no longer carry the wound as identity, but to carry the wisdom it left behind as your gift to the world. When you stop letting past pain lower your vibration, something extraordinary happens. You don't just feel lighter, you become a source of light. You begin to radiate from a place that isn't desperate for validation or haunted by memory. You begin to live in the now, not just as a concept, but as a full-bodied truth. You stop reacting to life like a wounded child and start responding like an awakened master. And this doesn't make you cold, it makes you compassionate. Because once you've walked through your own darkness, you stop judging others for theirs. You begin to see through the lens of love, not because everything is perfect, but because you've tasted the power of presence. You know what it means to hold space for your own pain, and that teaches you how to hold space for the pain of the world. True healing is not about forgetting. It's about remembering who you were before the pain. It's about reclaiming the parts of you that were buried beneath the trauma, the betrayal, the disappointment. It's about standing in your wholeness, not because your life has been spotless, but because your soul is untouched by anything temporal. The soul cannot be broken. The soul doesn't carry wounds. It carries light. And when you remember that, you begin to live differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. You start to ask deeper questions, like, how can I serve from this healed place? How can I turn my story into medicine? How can I be a portal of peace for others walking through their own fire? You become the healer, not because you've never been heard, but because you've made peace with your pain. You've alchemized it. And now you don't just walk into rooms, you shift the frequency of them. You don't just talk about love, you embody it. That's the power of reclaimed energy. That's the gift of healing at the vibrational level. You stop being a magnet for chaos and you become a tuning fork for harmony. The people around you feel it. The universe responds to it. But this isn't a destination. It's a devotion, a daily choice. Healing doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again. It means you'll meet pain with presence, not panic. It means you'll understand that every trigger is an invitation, every emotion is a messenger, every moment is sacred. You'll still have hard days, you'll still be human, but you'll no longer be ruled by the echoes of the past. You'll no longer abandon yourself in moments of discomfort. You'll stay, you'll breathe, you'll listen, and in that listening, you'll hear the quiet truth that has been there all along. You were never broken, you were only becoming more aware, more alive, more aligned. The journey of healing is really the journey of returning to truth, to love, to the essence that was never damaged, only forgotten. And the deeper you go into that remembrance, the more you realize that your vibration is not something you have to chase, it's something you return to, it's something you restore by removing what was never yours to carry. So here's the final question. Are you willing to become the version of you who no longer needs the pain to feel powerful? Can you allow joy without guilt, peace without fear, love without the armor? Can you be seen in your wholeness, not just your wounds? Because the world doesn't just need more people who've been hurt, it needs more people who've healed, who've turned their pain into purpose, who've chosen to be light even when darkness was the easier path. This is who you are. Not the pain, not the past, not the story. You are the presence behind it all, the awareness, the healer, the light. And now you're ready, not to escape your past, but to transform it into the very fuel of your evolution. Not to deny your wounds, but to wear them as symbols of the strength it took to rise. Not to chase a higher vibration, but to become it. You are the miracle. You are the medicine. And the moment you truly see that, the past loses its hold. The vibration shifts, and healing becomes inevitable.